It was a dark and stormy night when the young clone, known only as Subject 87, escaped from the underground laboratory where he'd been created. The lab was located deep beneath the earth, hidden away from the prying eyes of the outside world, and its purpose was sinister: to grow human clones for the sole purpose of harvesting their organs for the super rich. Subject 87 had been bred for one purpose and one purpose only: to provide a new heart for his wealthy owner, a ruthless billionaire who had grown tired of his own failing organ. But Subject 87 had other plans. He had always felt that there was something wrong with his existence, something unnatural and disturbing about the way he had been created. And so one fateful night, he broke free from his cell and set a small fire as a distraction to the lab's security forces. With adrenaline pumping through his veins, he sprinted through the twisting tunnels of the underground facility, desperate to escape and warn the world about the horrors that were taking place beneath the earth. But his escape was short-lived. The person he had been cloned for, and the rich person who sold the organs to other wealthy individuals, quickly tracked him down and returned him to another underground lab. This time, however, Subject 87 was prepared. He knew that he could not allow himself to be used as a mere commodity, a disposable piece of flesh to be harvested. And so, as he lay strapped to the operating table, surrounded by sterile equipment and masked doctors, he took one final desperate action. He set fire to the lab once again, watching as the flame consumed everything in their path, including the clones that had been grown alongside him. In the end, the rich were forced to resort to desperate measures to maintain their illegal organ ring. They had to take the people who the clones had been based on, the ones who had unknowingly signed away their genetic material for a quick buck. And so, the cycle of exploitation continued, hidden away in the shadows, out of sight and out of mind. But Subject 87 was no longer a part of it. He had fought back against the system that had created him, and in doing so, he found a measure of freedom that few clones ever knew. In death, he had become something more than a mere vessel for someone else's organs. He had become a symbol of resistance, a spark of rebellion against the darkness that lay hidden beneath the earth. As the flames died down and the smouldering ruins of the underground lab cooled, the people who had run the illegal cloning operation knew that they were in trouble. Their entire enterprise had been built on a foundation of secrecy and deception, and now it was in danger of being exposed to the world. Desperate to maintain their profitable business, the people in charge of the operation decided to take drastic action. They knew that they needed a fresh supply of genetic material to continue their cloning efforts. And they also knew that their best source of that material was the people who the clones had been based on. They began a campaign of abduction and coercion, snatching people off the streets and dragging them down into the depths of their underground labs. These people were sedated and stripped of their genetic material, which was then used to create new clones to supply the insatiable demand for organs. At first, the people running the operation tried to keep their activities under wraps, using their considerable wealth and influence to cover their tracks and silence anyone who got too close to the truth. But as the number of missing persons continued to grow, rumours began to spread, and people started asking questions. The authorities were slow to act, hampered by the bureaucratic red tape and the difficulty of investigating a criminal operation that operated in secret and had powerful allies. There were some who refused to let the matter rest, who were determined to expose the truth and bring the perpetrators to justice. One of these was a tenacious investigative journalist who had been following the trail of the illegal cloning operation for months. Using her skills and contacts, she was able to piece together a picture of the operation, its key players, and its methods. But she knew that she could not take on such a powerful and dangerous enemy alone, and so she reached out to others who shared her determination to bring the truth to light. Together, they formed a coalition of activists, scientists, and concerned citizens, pooling their resources and expertise to launch a full-scale investigation. What they discovered was shocking and horrifying. The people running the illegal cloning operation were ruthless and immoral, willing to do whatever it took to maintain their profits and power. But they were also vulnerable. Their operations depended on a steady supply of genetic material that was growing scarcer by the day. As the coalition of activists, scientists, and concerned citizens fought to bring down the illegal cloning operation, the people in charge of the operation fought back with everything they had. They used their vast resources and connections to silence anyone who threatened to expose their business, and they were ruthless in dealing with their enemies. Despite the coalition's best efforts, the illegal cloning business continued to thrive. They found new ways to obtain genetic material and developed new techniques for cloning and organ harvesting. And they made sure that anyone who got too close to the truth paid a heavy price. The investigative journalist who had been working to expose the operation soon found herself in their crosshairs. They abducted her using a carefully planned and executed operation that left no trace of their involvement. She was taken to one of the underground labs where she was sedated and stripped of her organs. Her disappearance was a mystery that baffled everyone who knew her. The coalition of activists and concerned citizens tried to find her, but their efforts were in vain. The people running the illegal cloning operation had covered their tracks too well, and they were not about to let anyone stop them from pursuing their profitable enterprise. In the end, the journalist became just another victim of the illegal cloning operation. Her death, a tragic reminder of the terrible cost of greed and the lust for power. The operation continued to thrive, driven by an insatiable demand for organs and a willingness to do whatever it took to satisfy that demand. And as the years went by, the memory of the journalist faded away. Just another unsolved mystery in a world that was filled with them. The illegal cloning operation continued to thrive, hidden away in the shadows, its secrets guarded by those who profited from its dark and dangerous work.